What is up, guys? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Meanies. Last week, SuperCoach had its head turned on its back and backwards. Oh my God. It has been the biggest change in SuperCoach in a long time. They have changed from Fox Sports as a provider for their stats to the NRL stats. And NRL, if you aren't aware, score the stats so much different. For instance, third person in tackle, the try assists are always given to the last pass now. So there's a lot more black and white. So it is a good thing. But us super coaches are scrambling to get our head around it. To be honest, I haven't even got my head around it fully yet. And I feel like we won't really get a full grasp of it until the season starts and we actually see the scoring in front of our faces. So I don't want to lead people astray, but I've got some stats here of what I think is the most affected in each position. So this video is going to be the most affected in each position, just a couple of relevant players in each position, and whether it's positive or negative, you be the judge. I just want to reaffirm or potentially lead you. Maybe if you're leaning one way, then maybe these stats help. But as I said, I don't think anybody knows completely what it's going to look like come round one. But we can try and get our head around it just a little bit. But that being said, I don't know if I'm going to ever get my head around this until we actually get a start date. But let's start at fullback. Keanu Keeney is the biggest at advantage. He gains 22.9 points off his average from last year, which is absolutely insane. If he wasn't more of a must-have before, he is now. Obviously, this is based on what we think the scoring system is going to be going forward. So, yeah, Keanu Keeney just all of a sudden becomes a must-have. I think this kind of scoring system does help the base stat monsters. It does kind of disadvantage the big attacking players, but that could be a good thing. I feel like instead of stacking your fullbacks in the flex, there's a lot more to play out. But that being said, I think a lot of people are overreacting at the same time because the rest of these stats, a lot of them aren't that skewed. Next one, Reece Walsh. He actually loses 10.6 points. So he is 835,000. That would bump him down to a 74.8 average, which would be an absolute killer. He's got a pretty low floor as it is, but we all know he's got such a high ceiling. I think, obviously, we wait and see how the scoring starts out. If you want to start with him and you think his draw is good, then 100% go for it. I think he's still a great player and he still will have good output. It's just whether you think there's value there. And I think with your big guns, most of the time you don't need value with your big guns. If you think they're going to score well, be involved a lot, have heaps of try assists, then Reece Walsh is your man. But for me, I'm not interested in Reece Walsh as it is anyway. Kalen Ponga is at a disadvantage, minus 10 points to a 52.5. He's already undervalued as it is, just from a poor season last year and Newcastle not really firing too much of a shot. So this is a bit of a dagger for Kalen Ponga potential owners because I don't know what way it's going to go for him because he doesn't really rack up too many base stats, but at the same time, he's got such a high ceiling at the same time. With Dylan Brown at the club, I think he gets more last pass try assist, Kalen Ponga, but I'm still very concerned about this injury that he has lingering, so I'd probably wait and see and with Kalen Ponga, but they're the three most affected at fullback. Apart from that, it goes down quite significantly to a certain number. So we've got, Drinkwater loses 4.9, Tedesco loses 4.4, Tommy loses 6. So it's all not that high, but at the same time, if you're looking for value at this point of the year, it's not very comforting, is it? Let's go over to the centre wing, and the biggest advantage person is Will Warbrick at 10.7 points. He is undervalued based on last year's versus this year's stat scoring. He would be 515,000. Will Warbrick, not really Supercoach relevant, but he's in the low 400Ks. Melbourne have a point to prove, a chip on their shoulder. So, he could end up being a good purchase just from all the extra runs and all that sort of stuff. And I think, if you're watching this video, don't take these stats as gospel because I think there's still a lot of clarification to come from SuperCoach NRL's end. I'm hoping to get Tommy Sangster on the podcast on Tuesday just to suss out what they're going to score. So, for instance, NRL Fantasy count line engagements as runs. So, for example, if Isaiah Katoa runs to the line, doesn't get touched, but runs 5 meters and then passes the ball, that counts as a run in NRL fantasy. So I don't know if they're going to count that or whether SuperCoach are going to go with hit-ups. I am a little bit concerned because the new scoring system in the SuperCoach layout, it does say runs over 8 and runs just RU. Whereas in the past, I'm pretty sure it was HU and H8. So I'm very concerned that they're going to add that. And then all of a sudden, some of these irrelevant players become super relevant. Example, Isaiah Katoa. The next one, Taylor May gains 10 points, would be 721,000 in case, and he's got a buy in round 1. But if he wasn't attractive to you already, this puts the nail in the coffin. He does a lot of work, and I think he'll get a lot of tack for that Tigers team. So he's one I would consider. But just at the price and just the uncertainty, the round 1 buy is very tricky. But that being said, I think a full preseason under his belt, Taylor May is in for a massive season. Valentine Holmes is the third one here. He gained 6.4 points, just to a tick below 800K. And if he wasn't on your radar already, this kind of helps a lot. Yeah, it's only 6.4 points. And I think earlier in the season, it's not going to matter too much. It's just going to be more of a season-long thing. But, you know, he's goal kicking anyway. He was on most of people's radars as it was. I think he's a brilliant purchase. And guys like him and Iro, like, for example, Iro, 5 points down. A lot of these centre wings are quite undervalued, but there is a centre wing that is quite 5.6 points get lost to Garrick. So I think that's quite significant as well. 9 points is on AJ, taken away from AJ. He's only available at 5'8", though, so I haven't put him on my list, but he's not really relevant. That's why I didn't put him on there. But let's move to 5'8". Jackson Purdue. He actually loses 10.4 points. So I was actually semi-interested. Watching the trials yesterday, he didn't look that good at 5'8". I think Clifford looked a lot better. I think we did him back in the side. He would just be controlling things, and Purdue just didn't look natural there. I know he come through the grades as a 5'8", but I think it's going to take a while to click for him. So the fact that he's overpriced based on the stats, and then he didn't look good, it's just a double whammy for me. I'm not interested anymore. Ezra Mam is the second one. He actually gains 8.7 points, and I was interested in him. So now all of a sudden, I'm semi-interested. He's 585,000, and based on those stats, he should be 671,000. So I like the look of Ezra Mam, but that being said, it's a 5'8's probably a position I don't want to spend too much in still. So yeah, and I think, as I said, don't take these as gospel. Halfback, Cleary gains 3.4 and Nico loses 2.6. And they're probably the most significant ones. There's not really much difference in the position. I think they gain and lose some. The halfbacks gain a lot from just extra runs and tackles. They're getting a lot of traffic thrown at them. And then it's evened out by losing a couple of try assists here and there. So I think the halfbacks, you can actually stick with your preseason kind of analysis on these guys and just keep going, because I really think that, yeah, there's not much doing in terms of difference at halfback. But moving on to hooker, there is a little bit of difference here. Harry Grant goes up 6.6 points. He's already at 600K, and he's undervalued as is based on his potential, in my opinion. So I think he's really good value this year. I do want to fit him in my side. I've got Reed Marnie at the moment, but I will read Marnie's stats out very shortly. Brayley is down, up 1.7 points, undervalued, so he's also a good option. But I think I like Harry Grant just a lot more, just based on 50K cheaper. Reed Marnie, 13.8 points underscored. Based on the stats. So he's one who loves to get in third on the tackle. And a lot of these forwards like to keep busy, like to help their fellow forwards out. So someone like Reed Marnie really benefits off this rule. So for all the missed tackles he has, he'll get a lot more tackles based on this. So I actually think he's a really, really good option. Keon Kolomatangi, 9.9 points. He would be, so he'd be based. He's underpriced as it is, but I think just the forward rotation is very tricky. is very tricky for Keon, so I'm a bit skeptical there. Haas is down 3.2 points, so he's 3.2 points undervalued. I think he's in most people's teams, so none of these stats really put me off him at all. Terrell May, 4.2, loves a bit of a flop, loves to stay busy though. He was absolutely insane last year, and I think he keeps it up this year for sure. Toby Couchman, 16.8 points. He was underscored based on the stats, and if I wasn't keen on him before, I'm super keen on him now because that is a lot, and it just proves to me that the NRL scoring is a lot more friendly than the Fox Sports scoring. So Toby Couchman, very interested in there. Jermaine Hopgood, 12.8 points that he wasn't given. I'm struggling to kind of say what's it called? Like how to pronounce this, because it's a bit weird because I keep saying they're down 12.8 points, but that could be interpreted as they're overpriced. But yeah, Jermaine Hopgood's underpriced, 12.8 points. And so is Isaiah Yeo at 6.3 points undervalued based on the scoring. I like a lot of these options, to be honest. But I think in terms of scoring, yeah, the forwards gain a little bit here and there, but I think overall it's just going to even out one way or another. So, a lot of people I've seen, because the last pass gets to the try assist now, I see a lot of people stacking their centre wings and putting a centre wing in flex, like people putting Stephen Crichton in flex, when really Stephen Crichton at centre wing, let me go up to him, Stephen Crichton at centre wing, Critter, 4.2 points undervalued, where, like, in my opinion, yeah, I see that, but at the same time, like, you're wanting 4 points from Critter, and yeah, it's value, but the fullbacks are still the ones who have their hands all over the ball. They're the ones getting 3 or 4 try assists a game. Yeah, Critter could have missed 2 or 3 try assists throughout the year, but the fullbacks are getting that in one game, and they might be missing out on 1 or maybe 2, but they're also setting up another 2 or 3 in their big game. So I think don't let the stats fool you too much. Still, stay strong with your plans. I don't think it's cause for too much overreaction, but definitely weigh up the pros and cons. And just, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of early adapting this year, and I don't think we're going to get a full grasp of it till round 1. But all we can do is speculate, try and research, and then hopefully get some more clarity from SuperCoach. Thank you for tuning in for today's episode. Press that thumbs up button, follow on the audio feeds if you are watching, and if you are listening, go over to YouTube and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, or we'll see you on Tuesday.